What's up, my community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live, as always, from the man cave. Day late on this. Yesterday I was feeling really terrible. The idea of the video is top vinyl finds of 2019, which of course if you're watching today is the very first day of 2020. Oh well, something tells me you guys will still be equally as interested today as you were yesterday, if you're interested at all. So, without further ado, I was going to limit this to like top 10, top 20. I couldn't do it. I just went through and I grabbed damn near everything I was excited to find in 2019 that's really worth something. Not everything I was excited to find, because some of the things I was excited to find was only worth like $5 to $10. I want to really show you guys a video of all killer here. So, without further ado, first things first, I'll show you guys what I got for Christmas, vinyl-wise, music-wise. Biography, Thelonious Monk, The Life and Times of an American Original. Very excited, guys. If you've never read this book or anything like that, it's a meaty read, but it's a good read. For me, it's not a meaty read, but it's a good read. And there was just never anybody like Thelonious Monk, guys. I hardly recommend you get it into your life. Written by Robin D. G. Kelly. Highly, highly recommended. Please, for my parents. Next up, Total Jazz. It is a graphic novel of sorts. My boy, Josh, had Take Me to Birch. You guys saw him in my Black Friday RSD video. Likes to get me a graphic novel. He's a big comic book fan, on top of being a vinyl fan. And he likes to get me a comic book or graphic novel based on jazz or music every year. And so I never buy any of them because I know that if I'm patient, I'll get it from him. So thank you. Thank you, Josh. I hadn't really gotten a chance to dive into it yet, but thanks, buddy. I always look forward to these every year. They're great. Thank you. On that note, hey, cheers to you guys. Hope you all have a happy new year. My first beer of 2020, Bam, Terrapin, Hopsecutioner IPA. Next up, a few that I got from my parents. Here's what's funny about this. So, my parents are sending me all kinds of text messages about stuff. Hey, would you be interested in this? Would you be interested? Would you be stuff that they find in shopping malls, Kohl's, Target. They're just not really the places to shop for me. They're just really not. Chances are I'm not going to want anything there. So I just finally sent them my Amazon list. I'm like, this is where I'm at, guys. And probably hadn't updated it enough throughout the year. Last year, I had all the Beatles 50th anniversary releases, the ones that have been released, and I sold them all for jazz. But funny how they all found their way back into my lives via my Amazon wish list. I had all kinds of Blue Note Tone Poet releases on there that I wanted that I hadn't bought because it's like, I got them for Christmas. So I passed on Blue Note 80s. I passed on because it's like I put them on my wish list. I get them for Christmas. Ended up getting none of those. Ended up getting all Beatles stuff, which is fine. Abbey Road 50th anniversary. It's the 3 LP box. Have not even taken it out of the plastic yet, as you guys can see. I will. No need to do an unboxing for you guys or anything, because A, it's going to be a long video. B, because you've already seen it 10,000 times, because I think the box has been out for a few months now. Sgt. Pepper 50th anniversary by Garth Martin, obviously. I've already had once before. I really liked it. Really did. But had an opportunity to trade it for somebody for jazz, and I jumped on it. So, obviously. Next up, the Beatles White Album 4 LP anniversary, 50th anniversary edition. Great stuff. Once again, not out of the plastic, guys. This is the first time I've been in this room since Christmas. No shit. I wish I was making that up. So, without further ado, top finds 2019, guys. I dare say 2019 was my best year ever for vinyl. Blitz. Self-titled. Not a first press. I can't remember which reissue Dylan says it was. I think it's actually a Japanese pressing, if I'm not mistaken. But guys, I was working in the shop with Dylan at Noble Records. This is before it was officially open, getting it ready to go. Dylan throws this on. It's a freaking face melter. I love it. I talked about this in a video before. It is so freaking cool. Dylan, if you're watching this, I want a Vertigo, brother. Get me one. Yes, it really is that simple with Dylan. Get me one, bro. All right, next up, one that I just talked about in the last couple of videos. I think if I'm not mistaken, original master recording, David Bowie. Yeah, you guys know what it is. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Mo-Fi copy, super freaking sweet. This is the second time I've owned this exact copy, and the last time. It's not leaving my collection again. It's killer. Next up, Zep 2. Oh, yo, Zep 2. Chris, what's so special about that? Boom, bitches, a scenario hot mix. Yeah. Super freaking killer. Dylan had posted it on his stories. from the shop, and I immediately messaged him back. So let's just say a part-time employee of your shop was to send you money for this right now via PayPal. Would you? Bam, off the shelves. Mine. I think it sat on the Holy Moly wall for a grand total of like 3 minutes. Next up, Warhorse Red Sea. What's that? What's that? What's that? Oh shit! Oh no. Vertigo, bitches. Killer stuff. Awesome. Happy to have it. This year was the year that I added every Vertigo that is currently in my collection to my collection. This is killer. I was in the shop with Dylan for Black Friday RSD, I think. I spent a lot of money that day. I think I grabbed this one that day. And I already had a stack of stuff I wanted. And he's listening to this in the shop. And, you know, like one of those guitar solo comes on, like, dude, what is this? And he told me that this is what it was. He had 2 copies at the time. And so anyway, asked him how much he wanted for one of the copies. He told me. I went straight for it. Could not believe, even put down a couple of jazz records just to have it, believe it or not. So this is freaking killer, guys. If you've never heard of it, I think their debut is even more sought after. So I hope to add that. Vertigo pressing, of course. Freaking killer, get it. Next up, let's run through some Sabbath, shall we? 3 Sabbath Vertigo pressings. Splat out. First off, my favorite Sabbath album ever. Self-titled debut. Freaking love it. So many killer solos on this album. And again, it's just one of those ones. Dylan throws it on in the shop, not this copy, but another copy while we're working in the shop, getting everything together, and I just vibed out to it because I hadn't heard it in years. Yeah, literally years since I'd heard it. And I'm like, oh man, why did I ever let this go? I need it back in my life, but I want a Vertigo. Not 2 days later, he has me one. Shout outs to you, brother. I got so many great ones from you this year. Next one, Sabbath Volume 4. What's special about this one? Oh shit, it's a Vertigo. Because after I got that one, I made it the goal of mine to have, like, probably the first 5 or 6 Sabbaths on Vertigo. Don't need to have them all. First 5 or 6 will suffice. Most recent one to come out to my collection, Sabbath Paranoid. Vertigo, baby. So, real quick, I wanted to run you guys through some rock LPs. Spoiler alert, if you only care about rock and you don't give a shit about jazz, unless you just want to hear me talk, you can sign off now, because I'm getting ready to run through some jazz shit, baby. Next up, the Young Lions. Bam. Super group, if you've never heard of one in jazz. Lee Morgan trumpet, Wayne Shorter on tenor, Frank Strozier on alto, Louis Hayes on the drums, Bobby Timmons on piano, Bob Cranshaw on bass, and Albert Heath on the sticks. Guys, this freaking record is killer. It's the first mono on VJ. Bam, get it into your life. Next up, was back, wasn't 100% sure whether I was going to throw this in here, but it's the only Mosaic box set I own. And it's the complete Blue Note 45 Sessions of Quebec. One of my most recent finds. Killer. Okay, there's some water damage on the cover, and there's a little bit of water damage on the book, but the records are near mint. All 3 of them. And they're killer. Awesome. Again, the water damage, I hate it, but at the same time, guys, I got this Mosaic box for $50. If everything's great on it, it's probably $200. Next up, probably my find of the year. I did not bother putting this in any particular order. Sorry, guys, I'm running through it. Saxophone Colossus, Sonny Rollins, with Tommy Flanagan, Doug Watkins, and Max Roach. In this condition, quite possibly the most valuable record in my collection. Quite possibly. Between this, the Cooker, Blue Train, 2 or 3 others. I mean, guys, in this condition, which is strong VG Plus, both cover and wax, and of course it's got the 446 West 50th Street NYC addresses on it, which is, you know, important to know because you get the NYC addresses as well as the Bergenfield, New Jersey addresses for Prestige. The NYC, of course, being the more desirable. Guys, it is. When Dylan sent me a text message and told me he had this, and guys, I literally, when I tell you I about shit myself, I mean I about shit myself. One of my favorite records in my collection, one of my favorite albums of all time. I freaking love it. It will not leave this house. You'll have to steal it. And spoiler alert, I'm a Southerner. I have guns. So, I traded like 3 boxes of classic rock for that and one other album. And the one other album that I'll show you in just a little bit, also one of my top finds of the year, No regrets. I traded like 300 records for 2 albums. Straight up trade. I don't regret it at all. I was giddy all the way home. Next up, Dizzy Atmosphere. If it doesn't seem like anything special to you, well then, shame on you. Al Grant on trombone, Billy Mitchell on tenor sax, Lee Morgan on trumpet, Charlie Persip on drums, Paul West on bass, Billy Root on baritone sax, and Wynton Kelly on the keys. It is an original mono pressing on specialty. Freaking great stuff. Good copy. It cost you a couple $100. Next up, super freaking clean copy. Contours Sam Rivers. It is an original mono pressing. My boy Dave at Local Bandography likes to call me the Blue Note Bloodhound, and for good freaking reason, baby. I like it. So freaking killer. Man, it's killer. It's such a great album. Next up, the music from The Connection. Freddie Red Quartet with Jackie McLean. Music composed by Freddie Red. This is an original stereo pressing. It is freaking killer. Super clean all the way around. Jackie McLean on alto, Freddie Red on piano, Michael Matos on bass, and Larry Ritchie on the drums. So good. Next up, man, this is another one. I about wet my pants when I found out about this one. Up and Down, Horace Parlan is several of my all-time favorite musicians on this album. Up and Down, Horace Parlan on Blue Note. Again, Blue Note Bloodhound, bitches. Original mono pressing. Super killer condition. And for those all-time favorite musicians of mine, Booker Irvin on the tenor. One of my all-time favorites, Grant Green, guitar, my all-time favorite guitarist. Horace Parlan on the keys, one of my all-time favorite jazz pianists. George Tucker on bass, Al Harold on the sticks. Freaking amazing. Next up, Thelonious, Alone in San Francisco, solo piano by Thelonious Monk. This is one of my favorite jazz albums, period. I return to it frequently. I had an OJC before this, got an opportunity to own an original mono pressing earlier in the year, and I jumped on it. Thanks to my boy DJ Parry, Marcus. Recently, my boy Dave at Local Bandography, who likes to give me nicknames, has started calling me the Riverside Rambler. I like it. Blue Note Bloodhound, Riverside Rambler. Both could be potential upcoming series on the Tunes from the Man Cave channel. Stay tuned. Next up, on the continued presence of the Riverside Rambler, Thelonious Monk, Mysterioso, another one of my all-time favorite albums. It is just freaking killer. Super clean, first mono pressing. Thelonious Monk on keys, Johnny Griffin on tenor, Ahmed Abdul Malik on bass, Roy Haynes on the drums. Guys, it is a freaking masterpiece, as everything Monk ever did was. A few of these are ones that I'd forgotten I'd gotten. I mean, not had forgotten that I'd gotten, but didn't realize I had gotten so recently. Like, didn't realize I had gotten this year. That's what Discogs is good for. Hank Mobley, Roll Call, baby. Original stereo pressing. Super duper clean. Love it. Freddie Hubbard, trumpet. Hank Mobley on tenor. Wynton Kelly on keys. Paul Chambers on bass. Art Blakey on the sticks. Another album with just freaking murderer's row of all-time elite musicians. I love this album. I return to it so frequently. Next up, another all-time favorite. Again, another one I had no idea that I got this year, that I had gotten, well, last year now, that I had gotten in 2019. Mode for Joe. Joe Henderson, original stereo pressing. It is super clean. Super, super clean. And of course, Lee Morgan on trumpet, Curtis Fuller on trombone, Joe Henderson on tenor, Bobby Hutcherson on vibes, Cedar Walton on piano, Ron Carter on bass, Joe Chambers on the sticks. It is in immaculate shape, guys. It is, oh my God, clean. Got a chance to upgrade to an original mono earlier in the year. Had to pass. It was too much money for me at the time, and this is such a clean copy that I hold that until I have the available money. Next up, guys, this is probably top 3 or 4 picks for me for the year. No doubt coming up. Album Moments, Grant Green. This album was so nice, I got it twice this year. I got an original stereo pressing, among the cleanest jazz albums I ever had in my collection. And then I got a chance to upgrade to original mono. So the story on this one was, My boy DJ Pari had an original stereo. Not this exact one, but one I showed you in a video earlier this year. He had it. He got his hands on the original mono, and he texted me. He goes, I know you want this album. Can you swing it? I'm like, yeah, man. He goes, here's the problem. I don't know which one I'm going to sell you. He goes, the stereo is so clean. He goes, but I just got the mono in. I haven't had a chance to sound compare. And he goes, I'll let you know which one you're getting. Either way about it, he goes, it'll be about the same price, condition, yada, yada, yada. I'll let you know. Okay, cool. And turns out his wife and family, his wife and his family were going on a cruise. They were leaving out of Charleston, South Carolina, which is the town of my birth, the birth of the man cave, if you will. And it's a 2.5 hour drive from me down the interstate. And he just asked me, hey, want to meet up in person? Meet the families, grab some lunch, hang out. I'll bring you your records in person. All the way up until literally meeting him and him literally handing me the box, I had no idea which copy I was going to get. I got the stereo. He kept the mono. He couldn't help himself. It's the way I would have went. So, stereo. More than happy with it. More than happy with it. And then he hits me up a couple months later. He'd found a mono. And he goes, here's the story on the mono. He goes, it's not as clean as your stereo. He goes, but it's clean. And he goes, do you want it? And I knew I could sell my stereo. So what I did was I called Dylan at Noble Records. I asked him, do you want it? He said he did. I cut him a deal on the price from the original price I got because he's my boy. He took it. I went for this mono, and I've never looked back, guys. It is freaking killer. One of my favorite albums in my collection. One of my best finds. 2019, top 3 or 4. Easy. Great stuff. Next up, Grant's first stand, Grant Green, original mono. You guys have probably heard the story in a past video, but just in case, I'm assuming some of you might have never seen any of my videos. So here's what happened. My boy Dylan, my boy Dave at Local Bandography, my boy John at Digital Gramophone, my boy Josh, Take Me to Birds on Instagram, all go to the Charlotte Record Fair. We all go. I drop a shitload at some of the first few booths, and then I get to a booth that has this, and by then I'm cashed out. I literally brought in cash exactly what I could afford to spend that day, and I'd already spent it. So he's like, well, make me an offer. I'm like, I have nothing to offer you. I can't offer you anything. I offer you anything else, I can't pay my bills this week, dude. I can't. So my boy Dylan had seen the look in my face. He saw how much I wanted it. Here's what he did. He went up and started hustling the guy. Dylan ended up getting it for half what was on the price tag. I will not discuss it. But I was just thinking he was going to keep it. I was like, maybe I'll end up with it one day if he ever gets desperate. But turns out my boy Dylan never had any intention of keeping it for himself at all. He bought it, texted me 2 days later and said, hey, just so you know, I only got the Grant Green because I knew you wanted it and knew you couldn't afford it. He goes, when you want it, when you're ready for it, text me, let me know, we'll work out a deal. He got it to me for the exact price that he paid for it that day. He could have jacked that price up double. Thank you, Dylan. Thanks, my brother. I love you, man. I'm sure you already knew that, but I'll tell everybody else just in case they also didn't already know that. Next up, Undercurrent. Bill Evans and Jim Hall. Original. Mono pressing. Super sweet. Got it from the best damn record store in the Carolinas, Noble Records, on Black Friday RSD. While y'all are out getting your variations on colored vinyl, snag some original jazz heat. BG Plus. Strong. Next one's one of those ones that I was telling you guys is in my top 4 or 5 of the year. Easy. And I got it on the same day as I got Saxophone Colossus from Dylan and Noble Records. Una Moss, Kenny Dorham. Original mono pressing, guys. For one, this is one of my favorite album covers of all time. It's freaking stellar. For two, this is another one of my favorite albums of all time. It's Kenny Dorham, Joe Henderson, Herbie Hancock, Butch Warren, and Anthony Williams, guys. What a freaking lineup. It is killer. Strong BG++. Got it the same day again. I traded 3 boxes of really good classic rock. And I'm talking about some lo-fis included in that. I'm talking about a couple I did not want to trade in that. Dylan will back me up, and I didn't care. It was worth it for me to have these 2 albums. I traded 3 boxes, and some holy shitters for 2 records. and drove up the road like I had just robbed a jewelry store and was never going to get caught. Seriously. Top 4 or 5. Just looking at it still gives me goosebumps. Thinking about that day still gives me goosebumps. Next up, Lou Donaldson Blues Walk. Original stereo present. Guys, here's the thing. After you've been in the game long enough, records start finding you. They do. And that was the case so many times this year of records just finding me. By that meaning people knowing that I'd be into a certain thing and just DMing me, people knowing I'd be into a certain thing and just emailing me, people knowing I'd be into a certain thing. Guys like Dylan and my boy Marcus, knowing what I like, knowing what I want, and just hitting me up, holding records for me, dealing with me. Very few of these I actually had to go out and find in the wild this year. Damn, almost none of these. It's a true story. Guy hits me up on Instagram DM. Never talked to him. He'd been following me. I liked what he had, so I returned the follow, but we'd never spoken. He messages me and tells me he's got a couple of Blue Notes for sale if I'd be interested. I'm like, okay, well, what do you got? And he popped this one up. And as soon as he popped this picture up, I thought, okay, this is going to cost me some money. I probably can't afford it. So I messaged him back, holy crap, dude, what do you want for it? It looks clean. And he messaged me back, man, $100. So immediately I'm like, there's got to be something wrong with this. So I messaged him back, hey man, you mind if you send me some pictures, yada yada, just let me look at it, before I spend that kind of money, which was cheap. And he sent me the pictures. I looked at them. They checked out. All original first stereo band splat out. I'm guessing that he must have paid round about that for it, which means he got a steal for it as well. Guys, this record goes for 3 times that plus. I still can't believe it. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Lou D on alto sax, Herman Foster on piano, Pat Morrison on bass, Dave Bailey on drums, Ray Barretto on the congas. It's so good, and I still cannot believe that I walked away with that super clean first stereo for $100 freaking. Wow. He sold me one other one too. Ended up doing the 2 of them for $150. The other one was a steal too, but it wasn't quite worthy of going in the stack today. Unless I wanted the 3-hour video. Next up, another Lou D. Had a good year for Lou D. Swing and Soul. Lou Donaldson. Quintet. And it's as rare as a unicorn, guys. It's, hey, my boy Dave, don't call me the Blue Note Bloodhound for nothing. This is a tough one to find, guys, in any condition. Period. Lou Donaldson on alto, Herman Foster on piano, Pat Morrison on bass, Dave Bailey on drums, Ray Barretto on the congas. It's, oh boy, like I said, I had a great year for Lou D. Lou Donaldson, by the way, still with us. Can you believe that? Still among us, still among the living. He's bringing in 2020 with the rest of us. Next up, had a great year as well for this man, Donald Byrd. Bird in Hand. Definitely one of my favorites of the year. Easy. First mono press. Charlie Roos, Pepper Adams, Walter Davis Jr., Sam Jones, and Art Taylor, one of my favorite drummers of all time. Again, original mono press. Freaking clean. I love it. I love the album cover. I love all Donald Byrd's album covers. I don't know what it is, but just all awesome album covers. Next up, more DB, baby. Donald Byrd, Fuego, with Jackie McLean, Duke Pearson, Doug Watkins, and Lex Humphreys. Original stereo pressing. Freaking killer. 47 West 63rd, new NYC addresses. Strong VG Plus. Killer. Hall's the Mail. Love this album. Listen to it often. Frequent return listen. Down to a somewhat smaller stack than what I started with. This is how many albums I had to show you guys. I apologize again. Next up, Playboys. Chet Baker, Art Pepper. Guys, this one is freaking major. You've seen it in the last couple videos. I got it on Black Friday RST from Noble Records. World Pacific Records. This freaking killer. Chet Baker on trumpet, Art Pepper on alto, Phil Urso on tenor, Carl Perkins, on piano, Curtis Counts on bass, and Lawrence Marble on drums. It is in immaculate condition, guys. It is a major, major, major find. Good luck finding a decent copy for under $200. Freaking stellar. I love it. Dylan went out and got it. was out on a dig in Asheville, I think round about his birthday. Someone showed it to him. He had a feeling I'd want it. He just messaged me like, what would you be willing to pay for it? I gave him a number. He agreed. No reason to go any further than there. Next up, Cooking with the Miles Davis Quintet on Prestige. This is my third copy of this album now. I had an OJC, and then went to a clean. I then went to a relatively clean like VG minus, kind of original mono, and to a strong VG plus plus. First mono, Bergenfield NJ addresses, and of course this one's that classic Miles Davis group. I don't know if I need to explain to you guys who all's on it, but if you need me to. You know what? Come on, how do you guys not know who's on the original first Miles Davis Quintet? Certainly you gotta know, right? But just in case you don't. Miles Davis on trumpet, Coltrane on tenor, Red Garland on the keys, Paul Chambers on bass, and Philly Joe Jones on the sticks. Guys, I get goosebumps just reading those names out loud. It's arguably the greatest group of musicians ever assembled. The next two coming up, a couple of Hubbards on Impulse. Okay, both found at the record fair in Charlotte, North Carolina. That myself, local biography, digital gramophone, Noble Records, my boy Take Me to Birch, all attended. One particular vendor had both. First up, the artistry of Freddie Hubbard, original mono press, Impulse. Bam, freaking clean, so good. Curtis Fuller, Tommy Flanagan, John Gilmore, R. Davis, Lewis Hayes. Wow. He had it up on the wall behind. He had this one and the next one on the wall behind, I should say, in front of the booth. The booth was small, but it was packed with fire. Next up, The Body and the Soul, Freddie Hubbard. This one's original stereo pressing, in case you need the proof. Gatefold, bam. Boy, guys, this is so good. Wayne Shorter's on this. Freddie Hubbard, Bob Northam, Julius Watkins, Cedar Walton, Joe Jones. This is just, man, just a little bit of everybody. Eric Dolphy's on this. It's just, wow. This is freaking killer. The guy sold me both of these original pressings for $150. I think he had 100 on, I think he had 100 on the artistry. He had 75 on this one. He ended up doing 150 on both. And then I bought some other shit, so he was happy. Great day. The next up, for one that would normally be the find of a lifetime. For any collector, no matter what. This is Hank Mobley, guys. This is Blue Note 1568. If you don't know, then wow. But as you guys can see, she is wrecked. Even my Seems Easy strips, because of the water damage and whatnot, could not repair it. It's had a rough go. I'd love to find the original owner and strangle them to death. I'm not going to lie to you, because, man, I only went for it, only added it to my collection because it was, well, it was a good price. And cheapest I was ever going to own one. It's cool just to say I got a classic records pressing for listening. Just, man, do I wish that I could have one in better shape. But just the fact that I have an original mono press and a Blue Note 1568 by Hank Mobley is just really saying something, guys. I mean, that's not no small feat. Next up, Heavy Soul, Ike Beck. I had a great year for Ike Beck. This, of course, original mono pressing, bam. So killer. Love it. Ike Beck on tenor, Freddie Roach on organ, Bill Tinton on bass, Al Harrowwood on sticks. Next up, Ray Draper Quintet, New Jazz, featuring John Coltrane. Of course, they're going to throw Train's name on there. Draper's relatively unknown tuba player. That's right, guys. Tuba-led jazz. And it's admittedly not one that I frequently return to, but it's great, it's rare, and it's got John fucking Coltrane on it, so I had to have it. and it is rare. You're going to have a hard time finding one, guys. A lot of you may have never even seen it before. I had to have it. My goal of mine is to have every session that John Coltrane ever played on. So I'll get there. I know I will. Next up, Bird's Word. Donald Byrd on Savoy. Fun story behind this one. Donald Byrd on trumpet, Frank Foster on tenor sax, Hank Jones on piano, Dave Chambers on bass, Kenny Clark on drums. Original mono press on Savoy. Fun story behind this one. I had, when Dylan was talking to me about, helping out with opening the shop and everything, which of course I was all in for, I had just told him, I said, hey, just one condition. I want to have the honor of making the very first purchase at your shop. And he agreed. This is what I bought. I've been in there all week, had ample opportunity to search around for the album that I wanted to buy first, and this is the one I went with. Hey Dylan, I bet you didn't even know this. I hope you're watching. Remember the ribbon from your ribbon cutting? Remember I held one end, Jobs held the other end? Totally saved it. Because I'm a sap, and I'm proud of you, and I took so much honor, and I'm so proud of being able to participate in it all. So I keep it with the record, so that I always remember every time I ever pull that album that I took part in something great. Next up, a couple of trains for you. A couple of albums that I have owned before this year. Train Ballads, Train of Love Supreme. But before this, I had owned a Holland pressing of Ballads by Coltrane, which is one of my favorite jazz albums of all time. I freaking love it. And I had owned an original mono pressing of A Love Supreme by Mr. Coltrane. I think you guys might have heard of it. But the whole top corner of this was chopped off, and it just pissed me off to no end, because this was the first jazz album I ever bought. So it pissed me off to own a copy like that, even though the vinyl sounded fine. So I got a chance to upgrade. I sold the copy for exactly what this one cost on eBay, flipped it, hoped that this one would hold up, bought it. It's great. I'm happy. Bam. Bam. 2 original monos upgrades this year for Coltrane. I was very pleased, to say the absolute least. Next up on the Coltrane tip, Captain Coltrane and Kennishet. This, of course, is an original mono pressing on Prestige, Bergenfield NJ addresses. It's freaking killer. Coltrane, Kennishet, Mal Waldron on the keys, Julian Yule on the bass, and Ed Thigpen on the drums, guys. Ain't cheap. You get a chance to get it, get it. Absolute top 5 find for me all year. Got it from my boy DJ Marcus when I met him in person with his beautiful family in my favorite city on earth, Charleston, South Carolina. Gotta take this one about the plastic for this one. That's Yusuf Lateef, guys. That's Eastern Sounds. That's on Woodsville Prestige. It is freaking killer. It's Yusuf on tenor, oboe, flute, Barry Harris on piano, Ernie Farrell on bass and Rabat, and Lex Humphreys on the sticks. It is freaking killer, guys. Getting ready to show you the label, obviously. Dude, guys, I gotta tell you, when he put this in my hands, it's one of my greatest vinyl moments ever. I love that album. I love Yusuf Lateef. I think he's one of the greatest, most talented instrumentalists in the history of music, not just jazz. And I love everything he's ever been on, and I have to have everything he's ever been on. That's a goal of mine. So, next up, another top 5 of mine for the year. Bloomin' Sentimental, I Quebec, first mono, obviously. Blue Note Bloodhound, continued, baby. Guys, I can't even tell you how much I love it. I Quebec on tenor, Grant Green on guitar, Paul Chambers on bass, Philly Joe Jones on the drums. How about that freaking lineup? Get some of that glare up out of there. Easily one of my favorite releases of the year. One of my favorite finds of the year. Easily. Next up, More Some on the I Quebec tip. Bossa Nova, So Samba, I Quebec, obviously on the tenor. Kenny Burrell on guitar, Willie Bobo on the drums, Wendell Marshall on bass, Garvin Massot on the checkery, and guys, it's a original mono pressing. Got it in a trade with a friend, or Blue Note. Next up, got this one just a couple of months ago. Groovy by the Red Garland Trio with Paul Chambers and Art Taylor. It is freaking killer. It's got those 446 West 50th Street NYC addresses on Prestige, first mono. Cover fully intact, in phenomenal shape. You can't beat it. Next up, the Cats. Tommy Flanagan, John Coltrane, Kenny Burrell, Idris Suleiman. First mono pressing. Super freaking clean. Again, first mono pressing. They'll break out that new jazz for you, which of course is a subsidiary of Prestige. I've returned to that several times this year, guys. It is freaking killer. Next up, one that I just got, which is probably one of the least expensive records in this entire stack, but I just love it so much. The Buck Clark Sound, arrangements by Charles Hampton. Original mono pressing on Argo. Talked about it in the last 2 or 3 videos I've had. Guys, this rivals, in terms of percussion-led jazz albums, this rivals anything Blakey ever did. I mean that, and Blakey's one of my favorite drummers. Excuse me, Blakey is my favorite drummer of any genre, all time. Get it. Buck Clark Sound. You can get a good copy for $50, $60. Please get yourself one. Down to the final 2 guys for the year. 2 of my last 2 finds. Both Blue Note. I'm sure you're shocked. Next up, Time Waits, the amazing Bud Powell. It's Blue Note 1598. The 1500 series just freaking smoking all the way around. Original mono pressing. Super freaking clean. Look how clean that is, guys. Bud Powell on piano, Sam Jones on bass, Philly Joe Jones on the drums. Guys, very loud, very clear. Every instrument comes across flawless. If you ever want a day full of jazz listening, don't start with Blue Note, because that's all you're going to listen to is Blue Note, which, is that really a bad thing? I think not. Next up, The Time Is Right. Lou D. I told you guys I had a great year for Lou D, for Mr. Lou Donaldson. And obviously I meant it. Super clean cover. Original mono pressing. You guys know how I've been doing by now. If you get a chance to get it, got to get it into your life. I just had to get that in the video. Bam. 47 West 63rd Street. Blue Mitchell on trumpet, Lou Donaldson on alto, Horace Parlin on piano, Layman Jackson on bass, Dave Bailey on drums, Ray Barretto on the congos. That's it, guys. I should have showed you guys literally 100 more. I went through there, I grabbed them all, then I'm like, I better stop. It's going to be a 40-minute video. And sure enough, it's coming up on it. And that's before I even get to my final thought. Here's my final thought. Guys, 2019 for me was my best year that I've ever had in vinyl, in the vinyl community. I met so many awesome people, hung out with so many awesome people this year. My boy Dylan at Noble Records, my boy DJ Party Marcus, my boy Local Bandography, Dave, my boy Bill at the Vinyl Verse, my boy Digital Gramophone, John. Like, physically spent time hanging out with these people. And there are so many that I'd love to cross off in the years going forward. What a great community we're all a part of. I love being part of it. It's great. And I wanted to share this video with you guys, share these thoughts with you. I wanted to tell you all that I love you, that I hope you had a great 2019. I know so many of you did, at least vinyl-wise, and that I hope you have an even better 2020, guys. You're all awesome. You're all a part of my life. I consider you guys my extended family, and that's why I drug my ass out of the bed on the first day of 2020, sick. I've been sick for 4 days. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice, but I'm sick. And getting better, but sick. And I just wanted to tell you all that you're all great. And keep on rocking in the free world. Cheers, you guys. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Hope you have a Happy New Year. And you'll see me soon. No doubt about it. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I can't wait to see some more Best of 2019 videos. Love you guys all. Happy New Year. Cheers. Till next time. Till next video. Keep dropping that in, you guys.